So there's a lot of talk about Stockton and Darlington because that's where all this began 200 years ago. But there's other places in Britain that are important to the railway industry, and we're in Derby and we've come to the Alstom factory because there's a huge exhibition here today and more trains than you've ever seen. So we're going to take you around there. And if you prefer buses, well, there's vintage buses running from the town centre to bring you out here. We can show you those too if you like.
'Twas the start of a beautiful year. In the month of September it's clear. 1825 saw the rails come alive. Locomotion was finally here.
About 40,000 people attended Alstom's Derby Litchurch Lane works over the period of 3 days, and so the queuing was pretty intense. From the queuing area you could see a few diesels, and through the fence you could see a bit of steam traction, and later on we got to look at those in more detail. The Climate Hero, belonging to DB Cargo UK, is a Class 66 that was converted to hydrogenated vegetable oil, or HVO, in 2021. The first area you get to when you arrive is called Freight Focus, so you are seeing vehicles that are used for hauling freight around the country. There are thousands of people here with us today, but it's a 90-acre site, so mostly we're all spread out and you don't see too many crowds.
Train after train down in Derby, they say, people gathering there for a beautiful day.
From time to time, the noise levels on site got to be quite high, because as one person blows their own trumpet, so do all the others. On the day that we were there, it was extremely hot and it was good to find places to go and cool off. One such train was this full-length 11-coach Avanti West Coast train, which was connected to power in some way because it had the air conditioning switched on. At one point on our walk around, we passed the people who were still queuing to come in, and this was about an hour and a half after we'd made our entry. Apparently we were a day too late for the Jeremy Vine show. We'd missed that on the Friday, the first day of the event, and so we had to make do with going to visit Lady Penelope. Actually, she wasn't there either. We're looking at a train here, but actually it's the coupling that's of interest, and my friend Alan, who was with me, told me of all the different types of couplings there are. This is a Transport for Wales metro train. We're up in the north end of Wales and we don't see these, they're actually in service down south. We found some facilities, so it's time for our first coffee break.
1825 saw the rails come alive. Locomotion was finally here.
We're going to spend a little time in some of the sheds now, and the spacing between the trains affects the type of photographs that you can take. They tend to be long and angular. There are one or two spots where you can get a good photograph. This is actually also true of the outside train lines because they're all stacked alongside each other in the yards and you have to walk between them. I probably don't need to tell you that the 200-year anniversary is all about the history since this first locomotive appeared. This is a replica of locomotion number 1, which made its way down to Derby for this event. We also hope to catch it later in the year back up on the Stockton and Darlington Railway. Also in the sheds is the Merseyrail Class 5071 from the 70s, and the reason why I am here today. And before we go any further, I think we could do with a drum roll, or something like that. I've never sat in the cab of a 507 before, so this was a first for me. Some familiar railway noises now. This is the Class 507's camshaft simulator. You get to see how it all works.
Apparently that was one of the oldest trains in service when it was actually retired last year. In its heyday though, it even carried the late Queen. But now the train, rail buffs will know it as a Class 507, as you can see, it's been given a new lease of life in Derby after enthusiasts bought it for just £1.
During its lifetime, this 3-carriage electric unit covered 3 million miles, the equivalent of the moon and back 6 times. Trains like the Flying Scotsman get a lot of love and attention, but some would question the appeal of a more mundane offering like this, which spent its life carrying commuters around Merseyside. Enthusiasts say they know exactly which seat was used by the late Queen during her ride in 1978.
You don't expect the Queen just to be on an ordinary train, do you? Not that it's ordinary, sorry, I didn't say that.
Oh, she was good, wasn't she? Here's another familiar noise from these old trains. Do you know what it is?
Do you know what this noise is called? Yeah, it is it's an air system, but it's called the Spirax valve. Now, if you ever wonder what the noise is on these and other trains, that's exactly what it is. It's just keeping the air in.
Well, I learned something new today. That was a Spirax valve. I heard that train ticking away so many times over the years. It's not just the past, it's the future that's reflected in this exhibition today. And the Hydroflex project began in 2018. This is a Class 319 train. It was converted to run on hydrogen and battery power, so it's a hybrid, do we call that? This shed caught my eye. It's a whole shed full of model railway stuff, including treble O, double O and O gauge, and the G gauge for Garden Railways. It was all here, including a layout from Pete Waterman. Pete was hosting a lunch the day we were there. We didn't know about it in advance, so we couldn't book on that. But we saw his layout here, and we also know that he's got a layout running at the moment in Chester Cathedral. It's time to take the weight off our feet and sit down and have a little snack before we continue around the site. The Class 93 is a tri-mode locomotive, and the modes are 25 kV AC electric, 900 kilowatt stage 5 diesel engine, or lithium titanate oxide batteries. The LCO battery is rated at 400 kilowatts. Having spent a lot of time on heritage railways looking at old trains, it was fascinating to come to a factory and see something brand new and shiny and clean and unused. Had to take pictures of that. Moving on to train rides, a number of trains were available for the visitors to travel on today. This is one of the ones I saw going up and down all the time, and of course there's no platforms here, it's a factory, so they had various ways of getting on and off the trains, from ramps to steps to even a little bridge. A supply of good quality coal. That's something that all these heritage railways with their steam engines depend on and can't always get, which is why you see so many diesels taking over the roles. It costs quite a lot of money to keep these railways going, and it's helped by enthusiasts and of course by you riding on their trains.
You can come on the footplate for free, ladies. You don't have to pay, but if you want to keep the whistle, it's a five.
Here's another train you can travel on, and I've been to the Festiniog Railway and travelled on it there, but today they brought it to us in Derby. Now here's a long queue of people, but it's for a pretty long train, and this was my second chance to get into an air-conditioned compartment. I joined on the back of this queue and still got on the train. It's an Elizabeth line train that they're testing on the test track here at Alstom. And apart from keeping me cool, the one thing it does do is take you all along the edge of the site so you can see just how big it all is and how much is actually there.
Take a trip on a beautiful day to a place that is not far away. Let's avoid any pain. Let the train take the strain to museums you don't have to pay.
It's the end of a beautiful day till tomorrow come what may.
a train journey takes you away.
It's smooth and it's fast. Take a trip to the past. Enjoy the onboard cafe.
I just fancy a sausage. And that's the end of our beautiful day in Derby as we head out and queue up for the vintage bus to take us back into the town centre.